Building a camera rig is difficult. It usually takes a lot of trial and error to find the perfect combination of parts, accessories, and cables. Not any rig will make your jobs easier or more convenient. Some may look good, but are a nightmare to operate efficiently. Creators nowadays look at their cameras like they look at a math equation that needs to be solved. Instead of utilizing the individual strengths of their camera, they try to compete with completely different cameras in other categories. This is not a Sony Venice, and it wasn't ever meant to be one. It doesn't matter how much money you spent rigging an FX3. In the end, the footage is still captured by an FX3. Give me a couple minutes of your time and I promise this perspective may change the way you look at camera rigs. In my last review, I recommended people to skip the expensive G-Master lenses and go for another option instead, which costs less, is smaller, and much more versatile. Somehow our tools have become a fashion statement, and pragmatism went straight out of the window. And nowadays, beginner filmmakers are being led to believe that you can shortcut your way towards becoming a professional. Your pockets just need to be deep enough. Chances are you've spent money on gear you never seem to use anymore. I sure did. There is nothing worse than looking ill-prepared in front of a paying client. So today, let me give you a strategy on how to save time, money, and effort when building your very own camera rig. These are the 4 main reasons why you'd even want to build a camera rig in the first place: ergonomics, improved monitoring, accessories, and battery life. Every single one of these topics, however, comes with the potential risk of making your build larger or more cumbersome to use. As a solo filmmaker, it's a constant balancing act between properly equipping yourself and weighing you down. A weighty setup has a positive effect on how camera shake looks. Additional grips or a top handle can also make the entire build more stable. Most camera displays are serviceable, but not great. So a larger monitor is a sensible choice and often adds several tools on top. Accessories like follow focus systems or a wireless transmitter can more easily be mounted on a rig with rails and additional mounting points. Powering said accessories and the camera with a single long-lasting battery can sometimes be preferable over having a light load. With all the technicalities out of the way, it can be easy to miss the forest for the trees sometimes. So the first step should be to look at the work you're doing often, instead of copying what some guy on the internet recommends. Would your work benefit from an improvement in one of these 4 categories? I'll give you an example. I shoot videos for lots of very different clients. Could be a watch brand, a tech business, an artist, and so on. This means my setup needs to be able to accommodate for this. I enjoy not having to think about gear when I'm out shooting, and I love to stay quick on my feet without lengthy setup times that could be spent capturing footage. So here's what I came up with for my FX3 and ZV-E1. Both of my cameras use a small rig cage for the integrated Arca Swiss plate at the bottom. I don't use follow focus systems or matte boxes, which means I can omit a tall base plate and rods. Instead, the small rig V-mount battery plate is the most elegant and compact solution I could find. By attaching the quick release plate for my tripod to the bottom of the V-mount battery plate, I can easily pop everything on sticks at any time and the rig won't tip over after putting it down. Just slide it on and secure the lever. That way, the entire build can be easily detached and even be used on both cameras interchangeably without getting too bulky or large. I do recommend getting a nice top handle to help with wrist strain on long days. This is also where I'm going to mount this OC T5 Plus monitor. It does not have camera control features like some of the more modern offerings, but once I've dialed in my settings on the FX3, I don't change them often enough to justify an expensive purchase. Secure the corresponding HDMI cable with a cable clamp and we're good. Let's talk about the most important part of the entire build, the V-mount battery. While I do enjoy using my cameras bare bones, it's undeniable that powering everything with a single battery for the duration of an entire day is quite convenient. But not all V-mount batteries are created equal. there's a few things that I'm specifically looking for. First, it needs to have a USB-C port with bidirectional fast charging. Dedicated chargers for V-mount batteries are expensive and bulky, so having the option to charge the battery directly via USB-C is a must-have for me. Additionally, this means I can power my camera simply via power delivery. A display which explicitly shows how much juice the battery has left is also very important to me, to ensure that I can monitor everything easily. Then I need it to be smart. I want it to power on when plugged in and power off when not in use. Lastly, I need the battery to be reliable. Frying an entire camera rig can be costly and dangerous, so a built-in battery management system protecting everything from overheating, short-circuiting and so on is quite important to me. There's a few great options out there, but after quite a bit of research, I found the perfect battery which does everything I need and doesn't break the bank. So I decided to contact my friends at Neewer once again, and they've sent me their PS099E. That said, no money changed hands and my opinions remain my own. After connecting the V-mount battery to my camera, I used the D-tap port to power the monitor via a dummy battery. A small but critical design decision nobody else seems to be doing right now is the layout of the ports. Instead of putting the USB-C ports at the top of the battery, Neewer placed them on the left side, which makes cable management significantly more clean and easy. This means when I'm using a top handle, I don't run the risk of accidentally breaking the ports. Seems like a minute detail, but makes all the difference to me. Depending on the job, I may also add a shotgun microphone, but other than that, this is it. Naturally, I put it through its paces on several occasions, ranging from studio productions to run and gun shoots to be able to give you an informed opinion. During several real-life tests, I was able to run this setup for over 8 hours straight, and powering just the FX3 during a stress test, the V-mount battery was able to provide power for over 10 hours in total. This specific rig build is focused on improving ergonomics, monitoring, and battery life. It's as compact as it gets, feels well balanced, and runs for the entire day. All I care about nowadays is pragmatism. You can use a sledgehammer to crack a nut, but this is the antithesis of being a professional. Fancy ingredients don't make a good chef. Mastering the basics of cooking does. If you're considering picking one of these up, you may want to use my affiliate links in the description. And if you found this video to be helpful, consider subscribing.